Alexis Downie here with Michigan State basketball head coach Tom Izzo. Coach, it's been interesting to watch all of the changes in college basketball recently. What are you most worried about?
I personally am most worried for the players, where everybody else is acting like this is all good for the players. I question where it's going to take them, the transfer rule. I haven't been a huge fan of because I think it's teaching people just leave. It's letting people come in and move people around. Coaches are going to survive. Programs are going to survive. It's the players I worry about making bad decisions. I can think of a lot of guys back at Michigan State that probably would have left after a year. Half of them ended up pros. And so I worry a little bit about that as far as the name, image, and likeness. I mean, I'm happy the players can make some money off it. I don't know how that's going to go, and we can be so little part of it, supposedly. And with that being said, it's in its infant stages, and we'll see what it does.
And you touched on it at the podium, the point guard situation or lack thereof it last year. How has that evolved heading into this season?
Well, as I said last year, that was my fault. We lost a kid that we thought we were getting, and we just didn't go out and get a true point guard. Now, that's being said, we had just lost Cassius Winston, maybe one of the best true point guards that ever played at our place. So it affected a lot of people, but it's so hard to understand, would somebody have emerged if we would have had a spring, summer, and fall to do that in? Would it have been just like every other year? It sure wasn't just the players that were involved. A coach puts players in a position to be successful. I sometimes last year put a couple players in a position that they didn't feel as comfortable in. So we've rectified it by getting a transfer in from Northeastern, Tyson Walker, who I think was the defensive player of the year in their league, but still scored 17 points a game, so he can do both. And then A.J. Hogert has lost a good amount of weight that he needed to, and I think he too is a much better point guard than he was last year. And the two of them are real good friends. They're both from the East Coast, which we don't recruit a lot of kids from. And I think it's going to make other players better. As good quarterbacks make good receivers great, I think the same is going to happen to us.
And with Tyson Walker, how do you think that he could potentially be a leader, or what are your expectations for him this season?
Well, he has experience. He started 2 years. He has experience as a true point guard. A lot of times nowadays it seems like we're trying to make a two-guard, a point guard, a three-man, a two-man. Everybody wants to be a position different than they are because that's the way of the world. Hell, the point guards want to be the coach. So everybody moves over a slot, and I think that Tyson has the intelligence and the ability to coach a team. I'm trying to get him to be a little more talkative, but he's a point of attack where with the ball he's an athlete that can get to the rim. But when people are coming at him, it's nice to have somebody there. He's got great hands and great instincts, even though he's not real big. He does a very good job stopping the ball, and I think it's going to be great defensively for us as well as offensively.
On paper, this team doesn't necessarily have a star, and that's something that Michigan State usually has. How are you feeling about that?
A little strange, but there's been a lot of things about the last 2 years that have been strange, but I don't feel bad about it. I think we have some really talented freshmen, and Max Christie is, I think, the real deal. I think he's going to be a hell of a player. Jaden Akins has really moved up on our list also, but then it's going to come down to, who emerged from COVID. Is it going to be a Gabe Brown, Malik Hall, Marcus Bingham? Is it going to be Joey Hauser, who I think maybe the COVID part of last year affected as much as anybody. So I think we have some weapons there. It is weird to be at Michigan State and be looking up at people, because usually in the standings we got a chance to look down at more people. But every once in a while, it's not all bad, because it kind of gets you to reassess yourself, reassess your program, look at it, and it gives you a chance to fool some people. And I don't like, people think I like being the underdog. I'd rather be the main dog, but every once in a while, it's not a bad thing.
So you're 66 and Boeheim is 76. Do you think you have at least 10 more years of coaching in you?
I don't know. Mike and Jim have definitely withstood the test of time. Roy got a little earlier. I think he's 71 or 2. I mean, I think it's always how old you feel. The only thing the pandemic has been good for me about is I bought a Peloton and I spent a lot of time on it. So I'm in better shape now than I was maybe 8 years ago. But it comes down to, do you enjoy your job? You don't work the hours that we work, and you all know how many hours coaches work, and if you don't enjoy it. And do I feel tired? Not at all. Do I feel frustrated with things that are going on? Somewhat, and I think they did too. So a lot's going to depend on the direction, but the way I look at it, I got 8-10 years to go just to come close to those guys, so I got plenty of time yet.
Thanks so much, Coach. Have a great season.
Thank you.